This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, back from a nice chest workout, and the results are in. It's been a little less than a day, but I did put up a poll yesterday on the YouTube stories, and over 2,000 people voted on it on who is the biggest whiner in wrestling. By a landslide, CM Punk won. Bret Hart was number 2, Jim Cornette number 3. And out of the others that people mentioned, Shawn Michaels was mentioned a lot, but I haven't heard Shawn Michaels whine a lot lately. He seems to have moved on, and he's working with the NXT people and doing positive things in wrestling. Unlike Bret Hart, who still talks about the screw job and the Goldberg concussion that was clearly an accident. I mean, is Hangman Page going to be still talking about John Moxley giving him a concussion 30 years from now? At some point, accidents are accidents. Also, for the others, some people mentioned Billy Graham. I mean, I understand he does often talk about Backlund being a bad choice to switch the title to, because he was at his peak in popularity, held the record for most consecutive main event Madison Square Garden sellouts, and it was ripped away from him at the peak of his popularity, and Bob Backlund was given this run, so I can understand why it got to him. Billy Graham, though, is poor, where CM Punk, Bret Hart, and Jim Cornette are all millionaires. And Cornette doesn't necessarily whine about being screwed or anything. His job, he makes his money by whining and complaining about people because he makes a lot of money from his podcasts and cameo appearances and so forth, probably more than he ever made as an announcer. But CM Punk, as Mick Foley pointed out, he won the world title at All Out, and instead of being happy about it at the press conference, all he did was complain, which devalues the whole value of the title. So, like, who wins the Stanley Cup and then just complains, or who wins the UFC championship and then just complains about everything? Stuff that happened years ago, some of it, like the Cabana stuff. But apparently, as I reported in the Wrestling Observer review today that I did, which I put the link in the description, AEW already got rid of Ace Steel, who was involved in that post-all-out fight. And according to what was written in the Wrestling Observer today, they are interested in buying out the rest of CM Punk's contract, because apparently he's not well liked in the dressing room right now. And actually, when they came back to Chicago after the first time he appeared there, they didn't draw a very good crowd. I think it was somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000. So his initial draw of returning to wrestling after a long time didn't last, and he gets injured almost every match he has. It seems like he has a match or two and then is injured and out again for long periods of time. But apparently, according to what was written, the holdup might be they don't want to let him out of a no-compete clause or something. Like they want a period of time so he couldn't just appear in WWE and give them a boost, since WWE is their competition. So it remains to be seen what will happen about that. But definitely, there's the poll again. 44% of you said CM Punk is the biggest whiner in wrestling. And this is Canada's most popular, by far, wrestling YouTube channel. So take that into account. And Canada itself has voted Bret Hart as the second biggest whiner in wrestling. So he's definitely losing fans over the years with all of his whining. I mean, he went back to WWE after saying he never would, after claiming that they killed his brother, blah, 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 blah. He main evented a WrestleMania against Vince McMahon, or he had a feature match. I don't know if it was quite the main event. He was a general manager for a while of various shows. He still works with them on stuff. Kurt, I don't think Kevin Nash whines to this day like the CM Punks and the Bret Harts. I think we were talking about more who is still whining in 2022. If Nash ever whined in WCW, I mean, I've seen clips of him recently online, and he seems to be in a very good place in life, minus the tragedies that he's suffered this past year. Jack, honestly, I couldn't sit through his search the all-out media scrum press conference. He won the title. He went on like a 20-minute rant complaining and bitching about stuff. After that, there was a fight with him, Ace Steel, and the Young Bucks. And him, Ace Steel, and the Young Bucks have been out with pay up until this week where they released Ace Steel. Don't ask me who Ace Steel is, other than apparently he's a friend of Punk's who hit somebody with a chair in this fight. I hadn't heard of him until this. Alan Kesselman, yeah, Punk is a grumpy old man. I think he's lucky. It's been reported he was making like $3 million a year in AEW for a guy that embarrassed the whole wrestling business with his UFC performances. I mean, I could understand that that AEW would want to cut him loose because he seems to be a cancer in the dressing room. But wish everyone a good weekend. I put all the main news in the Wrestling Observer review. There's not much more. I guess most of you guys aren't watching SmackDown, but it's on tonight. I'll give you guys the rating of that tomorrow. Wish everyone a wonderful weekend.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest